Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
They're in the computer?
This is getting out of hand.
Wow!
Strange things are afoot.
Over the potatoes!
Listen. You smell something?
Hello and welcome to the Clear Your History podcast. I'm Steve.
And I'm Megan.
And this is a podcast that we talk about all sorts of different crazy things and have fun with the internet that is available to us. Today we're going to have two stories for you, and it's going to be lots of fun. What do you think?
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun. Just to throw it out there, I did search phallic C4, which was one of my additional search terms from last week. Not a lot. I mean, it came up with a lot of phallic-shaped jewelry and trinkets. Nothing explosive.
A little bit of Pompeii action there.
Yeah. Interesting, but apparently no one's made a dick bra, you know.
And so that is available if anybody wants to make a post about phallic C4. You could be the top search.
Top search guaranteed. If your copy is good, you'll be up there. Promise.
So, before we started this podcast, one of the rabbit holes that I went into was a rabbit hole around, Mel's hole.
It was a literal hole.
There's no rabbits. There might have been. But, this is the first story, and there's this guy named Mel Waters who claimed to have a bottomless pit on his property. He had the property for a few years, and everyone around him, all the neighbors, used to use this just as a hole to dump trash in.
Wait, where was this at?
It's in, he lived outside of Ellensburg, Washington. He had a big plot of land out there. It's a lot of trees. It's mostly forested. It's old Native American land and whatnot. So it's kind of secluded. And all his neighbors around him and everybody in town around that area, kind of, whoever knew about the hole would use it to dump trash into it. Because they're like, well, whatever, there's this big hole. It hasn't been filled in yet, though, even though people have been putting fridges and TV tubes, dead cattle, all sorts of stuff.
Did this hole just exist when he bought the place, or did it appear when he was there? Do you know?
It's been there the whole time.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just what they used it for, and after a while, he's like, well, when is this thing going to fill in? It's just kind of weird. So he used to be a shark fisherman. So he had a bunch of fishing line.
Wait, he was a shark fisherman?
Yeah, I guess shark aren't fish, but he would...
A shark hunter?
Like a deep sea fisherman.
Okay.
So he had a bunch of fishing line. And so he's like, well, okay, this is how we find out how deep things are, is I'll put a 1 pound weight on the end of this fishing line and just lower it down and see how deep this thing goes. And it just kept on going and going and going, and he kept on adding more and more line to it. And he got down to 45,000 feet. And he's like, well, what the hell? Maybe, am I hitting water? The water tables before that. So he said, this is what I'll try. I'll put a Lifesavers roll on it, the hard candies.
Candy?
He put that on the end of the line and lowered it because his thought was, if he lowers that down and then brings it up, and then if the water has eaten at the
paper or whatever,
the paper and the candies will get smaller like they do in your mouth. So
okay, so this man's logic of all the objects he could have picked to put on the edge of a
GoPro,
a dental cam, I don't know.
Yeah.
He chose Lifesaver roll.
He says that's what it's an old fishing trick, but I don't really know if that makes sense.
How many inches is the Lifesaver roll?
I don't know. 4? 3.5? Yeah.
3.5 inches of Lifesaver?
Yeah, 4 inches for the whole roll. 8 flavors, You've had those.
Yeah, I've had the whole roll.
But, so when he brought it up, it wasn't, melted, or there's no sign of it being wet at any point.
So he put it down back to another 45,000 feet.
Yep.
And the lifesaver roll was clean as a whistle.
45,000 feet, yeah.
That's a lot of feet.
So then he just kept going down and down. Like, that's like, he's kind of funny because he's like, he was talking about how his wife left him, like he was separating with his wife. And so, like, this was like his hobby, I guess. Like,
did she leave him? Because she's just like, Mel, I'm tired of you talking about that deep hole in the yard. You're putting objects down that hole and you can't figure out how deep it is.
Is my hole not deep enough for you, Mel? You gotta go out in the backyard and play with that hole. Why can't you just play with my hole?
I would have made them lifesavers wet.
I don't know. I assume it's irrelevant, but yeah. So now he's up to 80,000 feet. 18 spools of line is what he's using, of the long stuff. So he, like, you know.
Does Mel have a job?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he yelled in it. There was no echo. The other weird thing about it is that the dogs will not go near it. Like, he has some loyal dogs. He's a hunter. Or I don't know if he's a hunter, but I think he has dogs that are very loyal, and they always just follow him, and he doesn't have to leash them or anything. And they will not go near the fucking hole. Like,
well, dogs don't like spookerinos.
He brings, yeah, that's the thought. Yeah, so if he'll put them on a leash, and they'll like dig their paws into the ground because they don't want anything to do with this thing. And
I saw The Conjuring. They moved into that house. The dog was mad, barking at everything, wouldn't go in the house.
Well, dogs get rid of spooks, right?
They don't get rid of them. They don't like them. Well, they might get rid of them.
Well, the spooks don't like dogs either, do they?
I don't know if it's a mutual agreement. We'll test it. Let's take the dogs to a haunted place.
Well, Eli said that there was a little spookerino in his house, and then once they got Eric Crouch, his dog, they don't have spookerinos.
Yeah.
Or maybe now it's just whatever noise.
I always thought they said dogs could sense them.
Yeah.
Kind of like little kids can too, more than.
Creeps.
I know, super creepy. Okay, so dog wouldn't go near this hole. Although, like, animals are leery of high up things anyway. So if they,
dog don't want to fall in a hole.
Yeah, but like even a horse, like you're on a trail ride or something like that. If they're not used to water and they see a water, even if it's only 3-4 inches shallow or just 3-4 inches deep, they still won't go over it because it freaks them out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I buy that it's spooky just because the dog won't go near it.
Well, I don't know, but it's 3.5 yards wide with stone sides down, so it's like retaining wall. So it's all like
10 feet wide.
Yep.
And he finished it himself.
He didn't do any of this. This was already here.
Oh, geez. When did he get the place?
I don't know. He said he's been there for a few years. This was in 97.
Okay, so early 90s.
Yeah. But the other lore to it was there's this guy, a Native American guy, who said that he went there. He's like a shaman. And he went there with his dad in the 60s. And so he knows about the hole, but he hasn't seen it since he was a kid.
Okay.
And his dad was telling him about it and whatever.
Did his dad have any reasoning behind it?
Well, Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth theory. Wait, is this about Hollow Earth theory?
It's a little bit about Hollow Earth.
You know what bothers me, though, is that the neighbors are throwing trash into a hole.
Yeah, well, fucking... What are you going to do with your trash? You got to put it in a hole.
No, you put it in the trash can and they haul it to the ocean.
No,
That's
but
how we work.
This is out in the country. It's not like, it's not like Waste Management comes picks it up.
They got to haul it themselves, so those holes
a lot of people burn their trash in their yards when you live out in the middle of nowhere.
Everyone likes a convenient hole.
Yeah, and this is a great hole that you can dump anything into it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
no consequences. But yeah, so it's weird because it's like finished down 15 feet, so it's like a well, I guess, but then it doesn't go to water, it doesn't go to anywhere.
Okay.
So all the neighbors in the community know about it, like I said. And then this one guy told him that he dropped his dead dog down the hole, and then he swears that he saw the dog resurrected running around in the forest when he was hunting with another dog, I guess. But he's like, it looked just like my dog. It had the same motherfucking collar and leash or not the leash, but like the
Collar.
tag.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's the same thing as my
Was
old
it
dog.
a black lab with a red collar? Because I think I saw 15 today.
Well, no, but it was a spooky spook. I don't know.
Okay. And there's no, like... Is there any lore about holes besides your mom's?
Hey-o.
I mean, about, like, is this the only hole like it, I guess is what I'm saying.
I mean, there's a couple devil's holes, but, like, most of them aren't, like, going to never-ending.
Okay.
There's another hole in Nevada that I think they know where the bottom is, and it's kind of weird because there's this one type of fish that's only there.
So it's a fishy hole.
Oh, what were they called? What were those called? Hold on.
What are you searching right now?
Hole in Nevada.
Fishy hole in Nevada? Because you're gonna get some inappropriate stuff.
The Devil's Hole pupfish.
Pupfish. Oh.
Hole in Nevada with fish. Okay, you look that up and it says the Devil's Hole pupfish is a species of fish native to the Devil's Hole, a geothermal aquifer-fed pool with a limestone cavern.
That sounds fake.
So there's no, it's real. It's actually documented, and there's people, and they're like actually making sure that these pupfish are taken care of because they are only found at this spot. Like, it's a little bit extra warm than other water because it's geothermal, you know? So it's kind of cool.
Well, maybe they're alien fish.
No, I don't know. Maybe we're all aliens.
Alright,
So this guy, I didn't want to bring this up at the beginning because you might not think that it's real, but this guy, Mel, went on Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM radio show.
Of course he did.
And told all about this, and that was in 97. So 3 years later, like on the show, he was talking about like how, maybe the government might be interested in this because, Art was talking about how the government needs like good places to
put trash,
get rid of nuclear waste.
Let's just put it into the earth. That makes sense.
It's like it's a bottomless hole.
Yeah, but I could say that about 1,000 women.
Why do you keep equating it to women?
I don't know.
That is sexist.
It's a gross name. Mel's Hole.
Mel's Hole. Not Melanie. His name is like Mel Brooke.
It's his wife.
3 years later, he calls back for part 2 of the Art Bell show. So this is like 2000. So he says, since he made the hole public... Okay. You're the one doing this, okay? After a while, he got a knock on his door by the United States government saying that there was a plane crash in the area and that he had to leave his property so they can investigate the plane crash and clean up. So
there was a plane crash that he didn't... Did he see a plane crash?
No, didn't hear anything, didn't see any smoke.
Did the plane crash into the hole?
It's bullshit. It's a bullshit story. There was no plane crash. The government just needed to take over his...
hole.
His hole.
His public hole.
So
were they wearing black suits?
Probably, but I don't think they're MIBs.
Okay.
So he saw no smoke around. They said it would be really easy, like, because he was arguing with them, and the government was like, it would be really easy for us to say that you had a drug lab on this. And Mel's been like, it's not marijuana or any like actual drug, but like he's been growing this desert drug.
Okay.
These desert plants and trying to find like medical uses for this stuff, and it's like, okay.
Okay, this guy. I like how you're trying to defend him right now. How many hours did you watch of this?
It's like I don't know. What's the cactus? The peyote.
Peyote.
Like I'm assuming it's something like peyote that he's trying to research and stuff like that.
What is his profession?
Radio guest.
I'm more interested in Mel than the hole.
He doesn't go into that really, but like so then.
So as a hobby, he's growing desert drugs for his own personal research into medicinal value. Mm-hmm. Okay. I can respect.
Like Native American medicine-y type shit. And so he kept arguing with the government over a few days, and they reached a settlement where they would pay Mel $250,000 to lease his land indefinitely. And he really
how $250,000
per month.
Oh,
Sorry, per month.
Oh my!
So
Mel doesn't need a job.
Well, because Mel's getting $3 million a year, so
Tax free.
I don't know. I guess if you get your money from the government, do they take it back?
I don't know, but what is the probably? What is the government doing with the hole?
Putting probes down there.
Is this like Stargate? Are they gonna send a person down there?
Putting mentally handicapped Russian people down there doing a little Roswell action. I don't know.
Oh my god.
But so then they also helped him relocate to Australia because that was a part of the deal. He's like,
okay, this is where you lost me because Australia does not exist. We know this from the flat Earth theories. Australia only exists in Photoshop. So they're going to send this guy Mel to Australia, which doesn't exist.
Sounds pretty good for the government.
Doesn't.
Oh, sure, we'll send you to Australia, which is just one guy mispronounced Austria. Okay, and believe this or not, when he was in Australia with his millions of dollars, he used it to, so he took some of his plants there, so he was doing plant research, but he was also helping, doing research and helping save the wombat. So, pooping squares, cubes.
Wombats, yes.
Yeah, so that was from the first episode, so I thought that was pretty cool.
So he took a species from North American deserts to Australia, which is probably now maybe an invasive species, and Mel might bring down Australia.
Well, you know,
ecosystem.
How Australia loves their rabbits and dingoes. So maybe there might be some crazy thing like that. Also, the other thing that he said was that the government helped him bring his dogs down to Australia. And usually when you, like, intercontinentally move...
Intercontinentally?
Yeah, right? Or outer?
No, I just thought you said continent. It was funny.
God. Usually when you do that with dogs, like, they have to be quarantined for a long time to make sure that they're not spreading any...
Yeah, and they have to do a lot of vaccinations.
Evasive bullshit. So, yeah. They, like, apparently hooked him up. So then, 3 years later... So he's back on the show now. It's 3 years later. Now it's 2000. The first call was in 97. So now he came back to the U.S. to help his nephew move. His nephew was moving from Tacoma. That's it.
Okay.
Tacoma,
Washington.
Or is it in Washington?
Yeah.
From Tacoma to Seattle or some shit like that. And that's why he was back in the United States. And then all of a sudden, he woke up after being out for 12 days in San Francisco.
Mel did.
Yeah. And, you know, it just keeps going after that. When I researched it the first time, not this time today when I researched this again, I remember they were talking about this hole has, like, dark light that comes out of it, which doesn't make any sense, but it says, like, there's a beam that comes out of it of dark light.
Are there any images, video?
There are, yeah, I mean, this is where I got it from, but I don't think they're actual images of the actual hole. And also, I haven't looked it up, but apparently on Google Maps, there's a blank spot, like in Nevada around Area 51, the government puts, like, little blocks over the Google satellite images. Mm-hmm. There's one of them over their area.
Interesting.
But there's also a United States government base around that area anyways. So that I was there before. I don't know. It's all stupid, and It could be true, but the Earth is hollow. That's
That's
for
what
sure.
you're saying is Earth is hollow.
It could be, and this could be a place where the aliens go in and out of the hollow Earth. Or it could be just somebody trying to become famous by calling into a radio station.
I think it's interesting. Like, I don't want to just discredit it, but it's something that I would want to see, like, evidence of, you know?
Yeah, so we encourage our
Go
listeners.
throw your dead dog into the well.
Also, Mel said that, like, in his will, he wrote that he wanted his body to be disposed of in the hole.
That's deep.
I mean, maybe he'll be resurrected. And then, like, zombie Mel yelling about some hole in the afterlife. I don't know.
Oh, no. I always have a hard time with these ones because it's like, I want to believe.
It's sloppy, but it's interesting. And I enjoyed researching this.
I'm also enjoyed hearing about it, and I'm glad that you were searching holes that were
Various holes.
various holes.
Famous holes.
Famous holes of unquestionable depth.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fun.
We all got questionable waste. But what is a safe, no questions asked, zero repercussion solution for all that refuse? Introducing Mel's Whole Waste Solutions. Drop that shit in a bottomless pit and move on with your life.
Well, I don't really want to discuss the details, but I highly recommend Mel's Whole Waste Solutions.
Try it today. Located somewhere near Ellensburg, Washington.
I was at work recently, and I was listening to a podcast that was talking about the Menendez brothers and their murder trial, or murder case, I guess.
Was this when we were getting that software updated?
Yes.
And somebody took over your computer and you had
Yes.
to like hold up, let me delete all these serial killer
But I didn't-
tabs I have open.
No, okay, so what happened was, I was listening to something about the Menendez brothers, who were these preppy teenagers in California in
They
what, the
killed their
90s.
dad?
They killed their parents, both of their parents, in cold blood. They had a lot of evidence, but it was like a highly televised thing.
And his brother, one of the brothers
wait,
had
no,
like this
wait.
shitty wig on.
wait, so that's what I'm getting to. Okay, so they kept talking about how Lyle, so it's Eric and Lyle Menendez, they killed their parents. They had a lot of evidence against them, but this was like one of the first highly publicized televised. It was when like the whole sensationalism of televising trials became a thing. And anyways, they said Lyle started going bald at age 14
Fuck.
and having to wear toupees. And he wore toupees during the trial and all this. So I was listening to a podcast that was going through the murder, and if you're interested in it, go look it up, whatever. But I was...
Last podcast on the left.
Yeah, they did that. I also listened to another But anyways, so I wanted to see what these goobers look like, because everyone was like, oh, it was sensationalized because women thought they were handsome, and it made them look like these innocent young boys, whatever. So I looked them up, and first of all, they were goobers. Absolute goobers. But so I brought up these pictures of Lyle and Eric because I wanted to see how he looked with the toupee. And that was when the IT lady needed to install some software on my computer. And she remoted in without really giving me any warning. And so she was working on my computer, and on one of my monitors there were these really big pictures of Lyle and Eric Menendez, which is just, probably kind of weird. But
these guys aren't necessarily handsome. His toupee is just absolutely awful.
it looks like he's got a Pomeranian's asshole perched on his head. So if you're interested, go look. But anyway, so when I was looking at pictures of them, and I had looked at current pictures of them, an article that came up about the Menendez brothers was that they were both, one of them had to do with one of their marriages. So they were both married while incarcerated. And I was like, what?
They were married before?
No.
Oh, they were both literally married, like the act.
In prison.
Yeah.
Like, because they were very young when they were convicted. I don't remember their ages, but they were, late teenagers when they were convicted of murder. So, yeah, they both ended up married in prison. And, I know that people get married in prison, but you never really, think about it that much. And so I decided to look at these articles because I was like, who would marry this dude and why? So Eric was married to, her name was Tammy Saccoman, which is a terrible name.
I'm gonna sack me a man out of prison out of the joint.
But she had watched his trial, his televised trial, and had become, I guess, infatuated with him. She said she sympathized with him and yada yada. But I'm guessing she thought he was handsome. But she claims she wrote to him with the blessing of her then husband, Chuck. She claims that she had told her husband, Chuck, that I just feel for this boy and I'm gonna write to him. Whatever. So she writes to him.
She's older than me.
Yeah. So she writes to him and they kind of struck up a friendship, and then they lost touch after Eric was convicted. So next thing that happens within that year, Tammy's husband Chuck commits suicide because Tammy found out that he was having a sexual relationship for 3 years with her 15-year-old daughter. 15 to 18.
So they're both into teenagers.
Yes. And the husband killed himself.
Wait, was it his daughter as well?
It was his stepdaughter.
Okay.
But he kills himself.
I guess that doesn't make it better, but
it doesn't fucking matter. It's gross.
It's gross.
But she reconnects with Eric. Okay, writes him a letter. They start getting it on.
Is Eric the wig or no?
No, non-wig boy.
Okay.
So, anyways, boom, they're still married to this day. So the other brother, I was like, wow, this is weird. But obviously, she had some issues in her life as well.
My husband done killed himself because I found out he was fucking my daughter.
It was terrible.
But
I couldn't find anything about what happened because I couldn't find anything about what happened to that daughter because she had another daughter who would then call Eric her Earth dad, which I found creepy.
She's from the Hollow.
She's from no, I don't know. Either way, it's a sad story.
There is nothing wrong with my origin. I have an Earth dad too. That's just speculation.
So that's Eric. He's married. Met her in prison. Good for him. So Lyle, as Wig Boy, he initially married a former model. Yeah, she's a pretty good looking gal.
Okay.
But she divorced him for cheating on her with other pen pals.
As in penitentiary?
No, as in you pick up a write letter thing.
Yeah.
You write a letter.
I
know.
know.
I know. And then he ended up remarrying 2 years later to a magazine editor from Sacramento. So he's doing pretty well for himself. He's still married and happy.
Still in prison?
Yeah, still in prison. And these guys were sentenced to life, I believe, so there's no option for, like, any conjugal visits or anything like that. They're done. So it got me thinking, like...
So they're married, but they never... I mean, do they come and talk to them?
Yeah, like, they write letters, they go visit. Yeah, they can visit them. Whatever the prison rules visits are.
Sure. Yeah, it's like a... Okay.
Yeah, so it just got me thinking because there are other killers that, you know, I thought about that were also married. Like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was married. Ted Bundy, that was kind of a big deal because that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, he was married. A lot of prisoners get married. And I decided to search how to find a prison husband because how do you do that? Like, I wanted to kind of understand what that culture is and what kind of drives people to go there. I don't know. I feel like that's the last place I would look for a husband, but maybe it's got its appeal.
Well, you don't have to see them all the time.
Yeah.
That's a plus. They're not always farting. You don't get into arguments with them about stuff around the house. It's all the pros of being single.
But you can't.
But also being married.
No, I disagree. So I just started looking at how to find a prison husband, which is not a good thing to search for because it's weird.
Prisonhusbands.com.
It's probably a thing, and I did not go there. But, so I will just give you guys a list of sort of the websites you can go to if you're looking for a prison pen pal. Which I found out these pen pal sites, most of them are set up as, hey, write to this person, they're interested in speaking to other people. They have to pay, like, a fee every month and then they can put up pictures of themselves, and they can write like a bio, and then you can choose to send them
Like
mail.
old school dating tapes.
Yeah, kind of. And it's really weird. Some of them seem more like tasteful than others. I don't know if that's a thing. But it's probably the same thing with dating sites. But prisonpenpals.net, writeaprisoner.com, Friends Beyond the Wall, Penacon. I mean, these are all ones that you can go to, and they've got these cheesy profiles, which it's them talking about themselves. A lot of them describe I started going through a lot of profiles because I was super curious about all of it. And some of them are just legitimately, you can tell, just looking for someone who shares the same interests and wanting to have something to do. But I'd say like 90% was a lot of sexual undertones, pictures with their shirts off. Well, here's an example of one inmate's profile on this one, I believe, is writeaprisoner.com, and his name's Travis, and the only picture of him is him flexing with his shirt off, and it says, "That's enough. Stop daydreaming about what you think your kids would look like." In parentheses, cute though, right? Matter of fact, don't stop, because whatever it is you're on this website looking for just fell into your lap. So it's like mostly clearly, and then it's like their profiles have their conviction date, when they're first eligible parole, are they in for life, are they on death row, yada yada yada. And then you can also, on this website, you can search for what they're in for. So, actually, this is probably the most legitimate.
What you're in for.
What you're in for. This is like the most legitimate thing. This site was pretty, I don't know. Like, different inmates have different capabilities. Some of them can email, some of them can only have printed mail, so they all have instructions.
You want a man that really takes control? Go to datarapist.com.
Right. So some of them can only communicate by like printed mail. So then some of these websites will, you email the website and then they print it out and mail it to them for you. They take care of all that. So,
Very nice.
But the inmates, I was like, well, what's the money? Why are there so many of these talk to a prisoner websites? And the thing is, they charge the inmates to put up pictures of themselves. So they're making money off of the inmates per subscription to provide, if that makes sense.
Where do the inmates have money now?
Well, some of them work jobs in the pen.
Making panties?
Yeah, making license plate and dildos. I don't know what they're making, but they make
Our whole system is kind of fucked up.
It is, and we don't need to get into that. I'm just, it's sad. It's very sad, but some of these people are
You
really.
shouldn't be able to make money incarcerating people. But
Yeah.
this is a little bit more innocent than other things.
Yeah, I mean, so there are legitimate prisoners using this site to actually just, connect with somebody and kill the time a little bit, and they're probably really lonely and.
Are you a killer? You also like killing time.
I just, a lot of them were. So anyway, so those are the kind of more legitimate sites that seem a little bit more geared toward just helping people connect. But so then I got to these other sites. There's one called Inmate Mingle, which was like a classy site. It kind of felt like the I don't know, eHarmony of prison dating, and their motto is making connections from the inside out.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people, like there's kind of like a rape culture in there where the big guy for power reasons might
Make connections from
bend
the
you
inside
over
out.
and drop the soap and
Yeah, I get like connecting with people, and people who are incarcerated are people too. It felt a little what do I want to say, sleazy. But I have to say, my all-time favorite one that I came across, I can't believe I looked at this many of them, but it's called conjugalharmony.com.
How many did you sign up for?
7. Let's just say that Bubba in Tempe, Arizona can expect a package tomorrow.
Hey, hey, Bubba out there, if you're listening, be ready.
So this one is called conjugalharmony.com, and I'm like 75% convinced it's fake, 25% fake convinced it's not fake, but it's in California, and they help if you want conjugal visits or whatever. They'll help do all the paperwork, whatever, for a fee. All
you
that.
gotta get it out.
But their slogan is, "The nagging stops when the bar slams shut."
Yeah.
I finally found a wife with the perfect amount of freedom and rights. So their whole business model is, we don't care if you stay married to him, but we'll set you up with conjugal visits and facilitate that whole process. And they have all these profiles for women, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are fake. Her name's Brandy, 20, from California.
Brandy.
She's a fine girl. Anyways, her hobbies and interests are, I play ping pong and dream I'm playing ping pong somewhere else, not prison. Why I deserve another chance. I try like hell to get the guards to cut me off a little something something, but they never do because they lose their job if we got caught or pregnant. I am so lonely and I can't live if I know my whole life I'll never taste another man. Will you be the glass I drink from? So deep.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
But also intriguing.
So they've got it where you can sign up, you can register, they'll facilitate the whole marriage process. So that brings us to why would somebody do this? I don't know why someone would do this. There's probably a whole psychology behind it. I feel like the people that do have a reason, they're probably desperate for attention or...
That's what you're into. Hey, everybody's got something.
That's true. But, so this whole website, I was like, well, why would you want a conjugal visit? What does a conjugal visit do?
Get you laid.
Could. But only in 4 states. California, New York, Connecticut, and Washington are the only states left with conjugal visit privileges.
Really?
Yes.
That sucks.
And each state's different. And they don't call them conjugal visits anymore. They call them something like extended family visits.
Gross.
Yeah. It's not...
Extended family visits like when you go see grandma and...
Well, she could.
God. And you have a barbecue and the cousins are there.
I read a thing, people talking about them, and they said in the prisons they call them filk visits. But, Anyways, what can you expect at a conjugal visit? Well, 36 to 72 hours every 3 to 5 months. This is only for good behavior. The person who's coming in has to have a background check.
I was under the impression that a conjugal visit is just a fucking visit.
No. It's 36 to... So this is like... So they couldn't use those... They can use those visits if they do have children. So it's basically they set them up in this 2-bedroom apartment with the TV and amenities and all that. It's kind of like a hotel.
I'm going to watch TV now that I'm out of prison
Right.
for a few hours.
Right. I'm saying like they have... It's just like setting them up in like one of those probably long stay hotels. And they can... kids, families, whatever can come. But most of the time, it's not. It's grown-ups.
Mm-hmm.
36 to 72 hours... And things you can be expected provided with are towels, sheets, toiletries, condoms, and lube.
Hey, that's a king's package.
Yeah,
right
but you
there.
gotta be a good boy in prison. Or
Hey.
girl. So, if you want the opportunity, love is out there. Feel free to look up any of those sites. There might be someone that has the same interests. And, a lot of these people just want to talk to somebody. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, do you?
No, it's fine. I'm all for it.
But don't...
I do think that the other 46 states should get on board and get these conjugal visits going.
Why?
Because these people, they want to... These are people locked up in prison. They need to fuck. You need to get it out. All right?
I don't know that I agree with it.
It's gonna be bad. I mean, I'm sure you can jerk off all you want.
Why don't we just let everyone out?
No, they need to get... They need to go fuck.
Why? What's it gonna...
It puts you in a better mood. It's good for you. It's healthy.
Yeah, I guess, whatever. But I'm gonna just throw some...
You don't want somebody who's in prison for a reason to be in a bad mood, do you? You want them to be happy little prisoners.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
They're little happy little prisoners. It's good. All they got is like 30 copies of Catcher on Their Eye, okay? They're bored.
That's blacklisted literature. But, if you
They're just watching these Mel's Hole documentaries.
If you do decide to
If
pursue...
only I could find a Mel's Hole, I'd get out of this place.
I keep digging under my cell deeper and deeper.
Yeah. If only there was a cabin that went 80,000 feet or longer.
Alright, anyways, I'm just gonna say go for it if that's what you're into. If you're looking for love, maybe you're a little shy, maybe you just need to communicate with someone via, pen and paper. Be romanced.
Draw some dicks.
Draw some dicks. Do it. However, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and tell you about Philip Karl Jablonski,
Oh my God.
which is an unfortunate name, but basically, gist of it, he went to prison for 12 years for murdering his girlfriend. While he was incarcerated, he met his wife, Carol. They got married while he was in prison. She saw a newspaper person lad. Basically what we're talking about now.
Nice.
From Carl. Yeah, so they got married, yada yada. He gets released in 1990 after serving 12 years for murdering. And 1 year later, he killed Carol, her mother, and 2 other women. One of the victims, he actually cut off her ears and carved "I Love Jesus" onto her back. And he's now on death row. So you can get friendly, but just know that you might get murdered.
They are in trouble for a reason.
Right. But I will say that Philip Karl Jablonski, which is a terrible name.
It's because of his name. It wasn't his fault.
He's currently on death row, but you can buy his John Wayne Gacy remake. So he repaints John Wayne Gacy's paintings and sells them online.
That's lamest shit ever.
Right.
It's like a cover band.
Right, but you can also purchase a signed pair of his prison underwear for $75.
I'll give you a signed pair.
So he's got that going for him, which is nice. But, murder your girlfriend and then your wife, and then you can sell your underwear on the internet. I don't know why they're allowed to sell their underwear on the internet, but, that's just... I don't know.
Sex sells.
Sex sells. Buy some Philip Karl panties and let me know how they smell.
All right, we're going to wrap up the episode after this message from our sponsor.
Are you a lonely clown that has found yourself down and out? We know that behind the makeup and red nose is a lonely heart looking for love, not unlike a death row inmate. At clownsforcons.com, we match professional clowns with convicts looking for a laugh and a second chance. We promise that all of your jokes, large shoes, and tiny, tiny cars are not only accepted, but embraced. At Clowns for Cons, we work hard to connect you with love and regular clown juggle visits. For a limited time only, sign up and receive a free set of playing cards to bemuse your inmate with using offer code BIGDECK. Now back to the show.
So here's my fun facts. 1. The Australian government lost a war in 1932 to the native emu population. 2. There is a gas crater in Turkmenistan that has been burning since 1971. It is known as the door to hell.
Oh, so it's the Mel's door.
To hell.
Okay.
They might go to the same place. The largest ball of twine built by a community is located in Cocker City, Kansas.
Cock.
The circumference is 41.42 feet as of 2014, so it's probably bigger by now. In Switzerland, it is illegal to own just one guinea pig. You need to at least have 2 because they're social animals.
I kind of like that. That should be a rule everywhere.
Isn't that cute? And mark your calendars, May 29th is officially Put a Pillow in a Fridge Day.
Why?
I don't know.
Alright, well, let's talk about some additional search terms for this week. One obvious one would be to search Philip Karl Jablonski's underwear.
See how much they are.
$75. I already looked it up for you, but you can see what it looked like. Let's also look up bird dung crab spider.
Mm-hmm.
Gulliver's Kingdom.
Like Gulliver's Travels?
Right, but Gulliver's Kingdom. And go ahead and go to your images search and search for shot put. You will not be disappointed.
Shot put still photo.
Just shot put and Google Images.
So we got a bonus one this week.
And so if you're ugly, it'll make you feel good about your face.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this show. Follow us on Instagram at,
Clear Your History Podcast.
and otherwise, we'll see you next time.
And feel free to search some weird stuff and send it to us.
Definitely. So thank you and bye.
Bye.